Hello guys, how's it going? It's Nathan here, World Masters. Well, I'm super excited today because we got a new mopping robot. Yes, this is from iLife. This is the iLife W450. Have you guys heard about it? Well, I've been using the W400 for a long time now, and I've been loving this guy, and this is the upgrade to it. So, what's so great about the W450? Well, the W450 is one of the few mopping robots that have both a separate clean water tank and dirty water tank. So, that helps pick up the dirty water from your floors and put it in its own little tank. So that's a really cool concept. Now the W450 also has a camera system. Yes, let's go and spin this guy around. Well, this has the panoview camera system. What that uses is CV slam, some fancy terminology, but it helps the robot navigate where it needs to go. Helps keep track of where it is within a room. And with the new Wi-Fi ability and the app control right there, you can actually view where the robot's been. It creates a map of your floor plan, so that's really cool. Also, you have some fine control of the robot. You can actually control the robot's speed. Yes, how fast it goes from 100 to 1. Also, you have the ability to control the speed of the extractor bar. That's craziness. Never heard of that, but iLife provided that, so that's a really cool feature. So if you want the robot to slow down a little bit on like tougher stains, you do have the option within the cool little app. Also, there's a new extractor bar. Has a cool new color scheme to it. And it does feel like it's a little bit stiffer. It kind of feels like a foam brush over the previous generation. But I felt like the performance of the new extractor bar is really good. And lastly, the W450 does come with a bottle of clean solution. So that's a really cool feature. Okay, so one of my favorite challenges is the navigation challenge. I really wanted to test how well the W450 could navigate a typical environment. I don't know if I could say that typical because my test is kind of out there. So what I did was I put a roller mat in the middle of my entryway. Also put some bathroom rugs with varying height in the back there just to test how well the carpet avoidance sensor does. I think this is pretty important for a mopping robot so it can avoid carpets and not mop your carpets. I know some robots have like a no mopping zone, but it's kind of hard in my scenario because the carpet kind of slants and most no mopping zones use like straight lines or rectangles or squares, so it's kind of hard to line up. So I really appreciate the active carpet avoidance on the W450. Now the downside to the W450, it does sit pretty low to the ground, so if you have any uneven surfaces like tiles or any type of threshold, unfortunately this guy will not transition over. It will think it's just carpet and just kind of go the other way. That's just the one downside I can see with the design of this guy. Also, you can see they kind of push the charger around a little bit. Not a huge deal, didn't get stuck or anything. And you can see that it was able to actively track that it needed to clean that area with its camera system. So that's a huge plus. So I don't have any issues with the W450's navigation. Alright, let's keep on going.
Start area cleaning.
Alright, so you can see that the robot is actually quite loud, so I probably don't recommend running this at night. But it did a good job of picking up the water, also scrubbing off the dried up soda stain here. So I have no issues with the cleaning performance. Okay, so I'm going to get overly excited about this feature. This is one feature I have never seen in a product, is the ability to change the actual speed of the W450, how fast it moves. And you can see in real time as I move the slider from 1 being the slowest to 100, it actually changes the speed of the robot. That's just quite impressive. Now, iLife did this to the A10 as well, and you can also change the speed of the side brush on the A10, so that's actually really cool. Now, for the W450, you can actually change the speed of the extractor bar. I'm going to go and turn up the audio and you can hear the different changes in speed of the extractor bar. And another thing is with the W450, you can infinitely change the water flow as well from 1 to 100. So that's a really cool feature. I really hope that other robot manufacturers take note what iLife is doing and incorporate that in their other products. Alright, so let's go and turn it up to its max mode, 100%, and we can see how fast the W450 travels. So this would be great for large areas. Now for smaller areas, or if you want a more concentrated clean, just drop down to 1%, and that thing will travel really slowly and get a really nice deep cleaning. Okay, let's hear the difference in the extractor bar speeds. Okay, so good job, iLife, for providing a nice colorful box. You guys did a good job on that aspect. And you guys can see some of the dimensions here. We got 11.5 by 11.1 by 4.65 inches. That's the diameter of this robot. So it's a pretty small robot. Has a pretty small footprint to maneuver around those furnitures and obstacles. And this little guy weighs about 7.27 pounds. So not too heavy, and you do have a nice little carrying handle. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the robot itself. The robot itself is a nice clean robot. Can you guys see that right here? You do have a mode button right here. That's offer 3 functions. You got spot clean, you also have area clean, and you also can do a whole house clean, which is auto clean. So very nice, just kind of toggle between the different modes right there. Also, you got the clean button. Just press that once to clean, press again to stop it, and if you hold that down, you can actually tell it to turn off. So sweet. And lastly, if you hold down the mode button for about 3 seconds, goes into the Wi-Fi pairing mode. Okay, so you may notice this button right here. That's the eject button. Just press that, and yes, the robot splits into 2. And you notice that QR code right there. So very, very nice. You can actually take your smartphone camera and scan it and launch the iLife app from there and download it. So you don't have to guess what app to use. It's just right there. Okay, so this is the vacuum motor right here, and this allows the water flow. And this is your extractor bar. Very, very nice. I've been using this, guys, so you can see that my extractor bar is still kind of wet, but it's fairly easy to clean. Just let it air dry for about 24 hours after rinsing it. It's pretty simple. But I really like this new extractor bar right here. Cool. All right, and to put it back in, just kind of start from this end, and it should just kind of snap right back in. All right, let's go and flip this guy around. And there you go. That's underneath the robot. It's pretty simple. You do have the charging contacts, the left to right wheels, and your front wheel caster. And also, this guy does have some cliff sensors right here, so it doesn't take a nice trip down your stairs. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the other half of the robot. So there's some nice instructions right here. It kind of tells you how to maintain everything. And so in the back here, if you guys can see that, is the dirty water tank. And right here is a fresh water tank. And this is the filter. So make sure that filter is nice and clean after each use. And it just gives you some additional instructions. Whoa, look at my kitchen. It's craziness. It's all dirty. I should probably clean that up. Someday I will clean up my kitchen. Alright, so the W450 is actually a pretty simple process to set up, and I do like the fact that iLife does provide some nice cleaning solution. The dilution ratio is 1 to 100, so basically 1 capful, which is 6 milliliters of solution, versus 1 tankful of fresh water on the robot. So it's pretty easy to remember, just 1 capful versus the 1 tankful. Okay, so to get set up, all you have to do is just press this little eject button right here, and the robot splits into 2. So down here is your dirty water tank, and you can actually empty out the contents. Very easy to empty out. Also, there's some instructions if you forget. Now, here's your fresh water tank right here, and this is a water tank filter right here. So make sure this is clear from any debris, so it doesn't hamper the performance of the robot. And there's some additional instructions right there. So very, very nice. I do recommend putting warm or cold water, and don't add any additional cleaning solutions other than the provided solution that iRobot provides. All right, let's go ahead and fill this guy up. So we got this all filled up with water here. So next, iLife does recommend pre-wetting the actual brush roll as well. So let's go and do that. To install, it's pretty easy. There's actually a groove right here, and just slide it in, and you should be good to go. And once you get everything installed, you can actually start the robot here, and there's a mode button. You can actually do path mode or area mode. You do have the little QR code as well if you want to pair up with the iPhone or Android device, so that's very handy. Let's go ahead and put the 2 halves back together. Should just slot right in. There we go. We're all good to go. So I can start the robot with the buttons on top, or I can use the handy dandy remote as well, or the smartphone. So let's go and see how well the Shinebot W450 does. Okay, so here's everything else that's included in the robot. You have a nice docking station. Just kind of place the robot on here, and if there's any water or liquids on the robot, it just kind of accumulates right here, so it doesn't get on your floors. Also gives you a spray extractor bar, nice cleaning tools to help scrape off any of that dirt and debris. You do have a nice remote control here. So you got your directional control pad right here. It looks like we got our area clean, we got a spot clean. You can actually turn off the voice right here. You can change the water flow. There's 3 different water flows. Also change the speed of the extractor bar, and you can also change the vacuum level, I believe is right here. So very, very nice. I like the fact that iLife provides a lot of control over this mopping robot. And lastly, it comes with some additional AAA batteries for the remote and a nice warranty card. So if you have any issues, just go ahead and call the number, or you can contact them via email. Sweet. So performance-wise, I think the iLife W450 did a pretty good job. It was able to navigate around all my furniture really well, able to cover all the areas that it missed the first time around. So I'm really happy with the performance of the W450. Also, I felt like setting up was super easy. I'll go ahead and explain that later on in this video, but the setup was pretty simple. So let's talk about the pros. I think the pros of the W450 is it's a good navigator with that camera navigation. It was able to cover all the areas, also get into small areas or tight places. Also with the carpet detection, I believe it has a pretty small bumper or pretty low ground clearance, so it's able to detect very thin profile carpets, also rugs, bathroom rugs, and it did a good job detecting them and not actually going on top to mop them. Now the downside to that is it won't go over any thresholds, so you do have to carry it over the thresholds. So just keep that in mind. Any type of thresholds or uneven tile, this thing will struggle with, so make sure your floor is fairly even. Okay, so some other things I like about the W450 is I felt like the cleaning was pretty easy. All you have to do is just wash the extractor bar and let it air dry for 24 hours, and just rinse out the fresh and dirty water tanks. Pretty super simple cleaning job. The performance is pretty good. It was able to pick up or mop up my spilled milk, also spilled soda, no issues there. And even when I vacuumed up the area, it still picked up a lot of dirt and debris that the stick vacuum I did there. So I was actually quite impressed how much dirt and debris this guy picked up. Okay, so some cons about this guy is I kind of wish this guy actually had a self-recharging capabilities. It does have a nice little docking station, but you physically have to take the robot and place it on a docking station. It can't actually physically go charge on its own. Also, I felt like the battery was pretty good. I don't know if it's really a downside, but this thing can last about an hour and a half. I know some hybrid mopping robots can go up to 3 hours, but I think for the battery life, I think it's good enough. It can cover a pretty large area. Okay, so would I recommend an iLife W450? Yes, I would recommend a W450. It does have a lot of great features. The application is pretty good. Oh yeah, let's go and talk about the application here. Alright, so I got my fancy smartphone, and we're going to jump into the iLife app, and you can see the robot right there. Very nice, clean interface. So let's just go and jump into it. So you can see that every time you create a new run, it actually creates a new map. I just did a spot clean area, so it's pretty cool. You do have a remote control feature to control the robot. You can actually tell it to go back to the spot it started, so that's a nice feature. You do have a spot clean mode, which is like a 1.1 by 1.1 meter squared area. And let's go and jump back into here. You also have zone clean. That's a really cool feature. You can actually tell it to go to a different part of the room, and it will actually go there. I tried this feature out. It was cool. It worked out really well. You can actually increase the zone size as well, so that's very nice. Okay, let's go and check out the settings here. So here's where stuff gets kind of interesting. You have the water volume adjustment. Yes, I can do it from 58 to 71 to 100, all the way down to 0. That's craziness. You also have speed adjustment, 1% up to 100%. Yes, this is one of the few robots that can control the speed or travel, so that's really cool. And they take a step further by controlling the speed of the extractor bar or the rolling brush, so that's just craziness. I've never seen any other robot have this capabilities. You do not have a do not disturb mode, so this guy won't wake you up in the middle of the night. You can search for the robot. Okay, you do have Wi-Fi information. So you do have the search robot, you got Wi-Fi information, you can reset the robot, and you also have cleaning history. So here's the different cleaning jobs. So this where that spot clean function actually told it to go clean part of my kitchen area, and the robot actually went there, cleaned that area, and then drove back. So that's a really nice feature. It worked well, and that's basically it. Pretty basic, but it gives everything you need to do with the W400. And the biggest thing is you can update the software over Wi-Fi. Okay, so you also have cleaning plan. You can actually tell it to do once, twice, 3 times. You also can do drying, Well, that's interesting. So it can actually dry. I believe it actually just goes around and just sucks up the area if you find that the area is a little moist. So that's a really cool feature. My hardwood floors are pretty sensitive to moisture, so I really like the drying feature. It won't run the water, just will run the vacuum and probably just run the extractor bar. So that's a really nice feature. Okay, so that's basically everything about the W450 and the app. I felt like this guy is a really nice value. It's not too expensive. Check out my links below if you want to check this guy out. I really like the W400, and the W450 is definitely a welcome addition. All right, so you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Be safe out there, and see you guys next time.